Yeah, let's just go organic.
Okay. Hi, all. Coming to you from Madrid, Spain. I'm Shimada. And today, for my Colorbar Conversations, I have a friend of mine, Michelle LeFleur from LA. And my quote today, I want to tell you that sometimes you don't need words. You don't need words to make you feel better. You just need the nearness of your dog. That's all, right? You just need the nearness of your dog and you're okay. Yeah, Taku. This is Taku, everybody. Okay. Join our conversation.
Yeah, okay. Well, so we haven't talked in a while. So I don't know if you know, I'm the CEO of Omarion Worldwide.
Okay,
And
go on.
this I've kind of re-entered the space of entertainment. You and I connected when I was putting together the first project I had called Voices with Tia and Tamara Mari and the twins. And
Yeah,
you did the original photo shoot for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And that was kind of my introduction into the business. And
Which has been how many years ago?
that was 1991.
No.
The twins were 12 years old,
Oh
and them
my
some grown
God.
women right now. Mia is 35, just to put that all in context.
Oh my
I'm 40. No.
God. And I'm just 1 year older. So
Oh,
okay.
that's it. That's it. But nonetheless, so I had left entertainment after working on that project, which parlayed into my other girl group, which was Before Dark, which was on RCA. And in 2000, there was a kind of demise of urban music. And so a lot of the record labels shut down their divisions in LA, and it was really skimmed down, and the whole face of music took it on a new direction. And so I just went back on my nursing license, because I'm also an RN.
Right.
And I got back into nursing for 10 seconds. And I just realized that, we all have a purpose, right? And I've received that my purpose and my passion is entrepreneurial. I've
Yes.
never been a type of person that could just work for somebody. So and also I approached everything with fearlessness. Any new opportunity or skill set, I welcomed it. So I just became a jack of many trades, and a master
Right.
of none.
Right.
And then I ended up opening a financial planning practice. And in that, I reconnected with Omarion,
Mhm.
I gave him his first job at 14. He did his background for my group Before Dark.
Mhm.
And we reconnected at my daughter's wedding. And he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about some investments." And long story short, that conversation parlayed into, "I want you to run my business empire." And, and so we started the journey together. We're truly partners. I don't manage him, but within the context of the business, they kind of associate me as a manager. So if that's whatever connection they want to have, that's fine. But we're partners. And what we have done is really build an independent entity of all things Omarion, all those intellectual properties that really extend beyond the breadth and scope of music. You know, um, and this last Sunday, we premiered our first original content on the Zeus Network called the Millennium Tour Live, which was a kind of reprise of the last year's tour that we did called the Millennium Tour 2019, which we co-produced. And it highlighted the reunion of B2K, the boy band of the 2000s. And that tour went on to gross nearly $30 million.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we put together another tour, Millennium Tour 2020, and we brought on kind of the Face Off reunion with him and Bow Wow, and then the other on there are Shanti, Pretty Ricky, Lloyd, the Ying Yang Twins, Sammy, Soldier Boy. So we were only 5 shows in, and then the Corona pandemic struck, and we had to shut down. So
Oh, wow.
we're gonna reprise that. But in the interim, it did, as the universe would have it, gave us opportunity to put the final touches on some projects that we had in terms of original content. So what's premiering right now, that's available now on demand on Zeus, is the Millennium Tour Live, which is the reunion concert of B2K with some interwoven in a docu follow type of context. And then at the end, we gave everybody a little teaser of the docu-series that's going to follow. We have a 6-part docu-series that's going to debut next month.
I see.
So that's the main thing that we have going on. And we also released new music. He just dropped a new single called Can You Hear Me, featuring T-Pain. That's available on all DSP streaming platforms. We are about to launch a fragrance called Unbothered by Omarion. It's an essential oil fragrance, and it is powered by our partner Art Naturals, who has a whole line of natural products on Amazon. They're Amazon's #1 seller. So we're going to debut that a little bit later this year. And we have a book coming out called How to Live an Unbothered Life by Omarion. And that's going to be collaborated by a very special, well-known author that I'm not able to, I don't know what I just did. There you go, disclose at the moment. Yeah, but that's going to be coming out this year as well. And then we have not only other music, but we have a body of work entitled Passport, which was written and produced by James Fauntleroy. And for those who don't know who James Fauntleroy is, he was Spotify's secret genius. He's the only songwriter to win a Grammy. He was responsible for the album of the year, Bruno Mars. He's done Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kelly Clarkson, Kendrick Lamar. Anybody that you see on the top 100, James Fauntleroy's name is on their song. You know, he's an absolute genius. So he wrote and produced this project called Passport. And what we are going to do with that is something a little different. You know, the music industry is really taking on a new form in life, right? It went from physical sales to digital, from digital to streaming, right? And now from streaming to now what, right? And so we're going to answer the now what. What we're going to introduce to the world is what's next. It's how you take the next step. And, you know, Omarion has always been a trailblazer and an innovator. And, you know, he hasn't always been given the accolades for that, but he doesn't do it for that. He's passion driven, he's purpose driven. And so am I. We're both Scorpios. You're a Scorpio. You know how we are. You know, once
we love our craft.
Goals,
we love our
that's
craft.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. And once you have your goals and your intentions set on that, you stick with it, you know. So quarantine for me hasn't been a real big adjustment, because when we're not on the road, I am here. I work from a home office, and I am powering and guiding our team on all things Omarion, which I just gave you the top line. You know, it's a lot going on. It's a full-time, you know, 12-hour
and all
day
you need is a computer to do most of that, right?
I just need internet and a computer, and I can work from anywhere in the world, you know, and actually a phone. Still got to have that phone, you know, the other part of it. Yeah, but you know, it's a really exciting time. You know, it's not easy. You know, the type of work that we're doing now is groundbreaking. It requires a lot of tenacity and dedication, because the lanes are congested, you know. And for an artist like Omarion, who has worldwide recognition, the irony of that is that he doesn't fit in adult contemporary music, and he's not a hip hop artist. He's kind of right smack dab in the middle. He's fresh, you know, he gives you elements of hip hop, he gives you elements of adult AC, but he's neither, you know. So finding a place to land at radio is really challenging. So we just have to focus on where it's a fit. And most of his fans live on streaming, they live on social media. So we've been doing a lot of cocaine.
Do you need radio these days?
Well, yes and no, because there's still there, that still becomes a barometer for the industry. For fans, no. Most of the fans, particularly in Omarion's demographic, live on streaming. They don't listen to the radio. They listen to their preferred streaming platform, or they're on social media. And so that's where we've addressed a lot of campaigns. I'll tell you about a couple of them. We have a campaign called Can You Hear Me, Pay Your Phone Bill Challenge. And each week we are paying the phone bill of a fan that posts a video on Triller to the song Can You Hear Me. We have We have a care package, a corona relief campaign where we're giving essential workers care packages of hand sanitizers and essential oils that promote serenity, balance, and focus. We're just launching something now, which is what I was working on before you called, for Earth Day, which is next Wednesday, by the way, called the Lovely Day Challenge. And we're partnering with Music Cares and Michael Beckwith of Agape. And essentially, Omarion recorded Lovely Day by Bill Withers. And we're going to invite other artists to hop on. And we're presenting it next Wednesday on Agape's live stream platform on Facebook. So you should definitely check that out.
That's next Sunday?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Okay.
So Michael Beckwith, if you're not familiar with the name on top. Yeah, he The Secret is what he's most renowned for.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a lot going on. So that's why I was a little behind the 8 ball, because I've been on calls even as early as this morning on a Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the Millennium Tour will resume after?
Absolutely.
Which you don't know when, huh? You can't say when?
We tentatively had everything scheduled to restart May 22nd, but it's a day-to-day thing. We don't know. We're going to honor and respect the mandates of the pandemic. If it resumes 2021, it's still coming back. It's not canceled. It's definitely happening.
Right.
And it's coming to the UK.
Oh, it is?
We had already almost sold out O2 Arena when it was announced. In 3 days, O2 Arena hosts 15,000 people, and in 3 days they had sold 13,000 tickets.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think with all this going on, that this is going to change the entertainment industry?
It has to, and it already has.
It has.
It already has. I mean, you look at the whole IG lives, and the house parties, the things that D Nice was doing online, streaming house parties and remote televised locations. Now, of course, when networks are able to go back to their studios, they're going to, but this has actually made us all take pause and accountability and inventory, not only on our professional lives, but our personal lives. And it was time to do that.
Yes.
We have somebody in office over here that I won't even name or give the honor of calling in that role that he has. But, it was going too far. It was just getting too outrageous, where the office itself no longer had reverence and respect from any of the other nations, and even in our own country,
Yes.
So it was time to reset. It's time to reset. And, I'm a firm believer that nothing happens to you. It all happens for you. So, my heart goes out to the folks that have lost loved ones and that are suffering with this. But for those of us that, have been blessed enough to have good health, this is a time to really reset and take self-inventory and really identify what is truly your purpose and the people, places, and things that are meaningful, and just set your attention towards your intention. It's that time.
Wow, you better talk, girl. You are so right. You are so right. I mean, it is so true. But I'm wondering, are people really going to do that? Are they really going to take stock? Are they going to think about this? Are they just going to go back to their old ways of how they were?
Well, the thing about habits, and the reason why they're called habits, is because we do them without thought, right? This is a time to be thoughtful, and step out of autonomic responses. And what I mean by that is, the autonomic response is kind of like touching a hot stove. You pull away without thought. It is a reaction. And what we have to do, if we want to be successful, and success is your own unique measurement of that, and what I've learned is success is actually a decision.
Yes.
Once you've decided, you decided that you're happy, so you are. But for those that want to step out of being autonomic, or step out of being reactive and step into being proactive and thoughtful and intentional, that's where you're going to find your most success and your most happiness. Because doing the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. you know. And if you're tired of being insane, then you better take stock.
That is
Facts.
right. That is
Mhm.
so right. That is so
Mhm.
right, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
you've been in the house. How long have you been in?
Since we got back, the last show was May 13th, so May 14th. I mean,
Oh,
I'm sorry, March. March. I'm sorry, March.
right, right. So, because it happened right after, right?
Yeah, we're kind of in the midst of it. See, the thing about it, they knew about this in November, got warnings in January, and just the sheer arrogance and ignorance of this person that we have leading our country, he ignored all of those warnings. And so there was no notice. And so it was really kind of touted to be a hoax or not really taking it seriously. And so the majority of people just thought it was another strain of the flu and they weren't taking it seriously, and we were caught up in that it was just a bare blimp on the radar at that
Right.
time.
Yes.
And then it just came out like a tsunami right after that.
Yes.
You know, people
Yeah.
started getting really sick and people started dying, and the growth rate was exponential, you know, after that. And it became a real thing. You know, I was among the folks that was like, come on, you know, people, we have 30,000 deaths of the flu in the US every year. There's a new strain every year. You know, I
Right.
didn't take it seriously either, but this is something different. You know, this is, you know, and there's a lot of theories, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist and I won't contribute to those, but this is very atypical.
Right.
How it's contracted and how it attacks your body and how it compromises your body, and the fact that by grossly disproportionate numbers is affecting the African American and Latino communities. And that's largely because lack of access, resources, and healthcare, even to get tested, even to get the information to understand that this is serious, you
Yes.
know, that it's airborne and that it can live outside on inanimate objects that we all touch, doorknobs and tabletops and
Right.
things of that nature, you know.
Yes.
You just got to take real precautions.
Yes.
So what's interesting is the promoter of the tour, as well as one of the other managers, did test positive and both were hospitalized. So once I knew I had been exposed, I went and got tested. And thank God I'm negative. You know, I live a very healthy lifestyle. I eat a plant-based diet. I've been taking supplements and antioxidants for well over 25 years. So I don't look 104, right?
No.
It's, you know, I'm gonna be 105 this year, you know.
And looking fabulous, huh?
And so do you, Shimada. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you, doll. Thank you. Well,
Mhm.
you know what? This reminds me so much, Michelle. You know, we went through it during the AIDS epidemic. You know, it just,
Absolutely.
you know, when this started happening, because of course over here in Spain, it was it happened faster than it did with you guys. So I started seeing it, and it just when they put us on lockdown, like that first week, I started having like a sort of not really a panic attack, but this reminiscing of, or I don't even know if it's reminiscing. It's just this. It just came back to me, those memories of you know, at the beginning of it, you didn't even know if you could get it by just touching a person, or and everyone was freaked out. And I remember with me, if you coughed or if you lost weight, people looked at you and were you sick? Were you, I mean, it was just, it was so crazy back then, and you just didn't know who was going to be the next one, you know. So it kind of brought back those memories of those days. And so I've had kind of like, I guess, a little bit of a mental, I don't know,
Absolutely.
you know, just start thinking of these memories and thinking of all these people, it just kind of like surface. And now it's better, you know, but, um, you know, I want this to be over. And it isn't like AIDS. It is like, in my opinion, it seems to be even worse than AIDS.
Absolutely.
You know, it was,
Absolutely.
you know, AIDS was not, you know, that you just touched a person. I mean, you
That's
know, this
right.
is just touch, or so they say, just breathing. And it's just, it's so different. And it is
Just be, yeah. It's
everybody,
very serious.
you know?
You know, and the difference is because, you know, I remember very well because I was actually in healthcare during that time. You know, there was a fear and an anxiety and also a taboo
Yeah,
because of the
right, right,
community that
right,
it was affecting.
right.
And the good news is that we're, we've grown culturally as a society. We're a lot more accepting. We still have some ignorance and whatever, but for the most part, you're free to be yourself,
Right.
and that's the good part. And we also are have a means to disseminate information instantly across the world. So that also exists. But you're right, AIDS is far less dangerous than coronavirus because AIDS, you have to have direct contact with blood and body fluids. And so how to protect yourself from that.
Right.
With
Yeah.
coronavirus, we're still learning, and every day something's coming out. So we know about, okay, if you're 6 feet apart, social distancing, they don't believe that the particles can travel that far. Now they're saying, well, actually it's 13 feet.
Oh man.
That's something recent that came out. And that, how long it can live on inanimate objects like clothing and shoes and doorknobs and things of that nature. What people have to realize is that coronavirus is still an unknown assailant right now.
Yes.
And we're only coming into view of how it's transmitted, and who's vulnerable. We know that people with underlying conditions are more vulnerable to mortality than those that are healthy, but age doesn't matter. We also know that if you're overweight, that you have a higher morbidity. For some reason, children have not been, as affected as much, but there have been some children that I don't want people to think there's no kids, but children have had a different type of immunity, if you will, to the transmission of the virus. But people got to realize we just don't know. So there's something called universal precautions, and that's what was implemented after the AIDS epidemic. And that was, you operate with the assumption that everybody has it, and
Oh,
you
right,
protect yourself, right?
right,
So you
right,
should always have a mask, and just covering your face doesn't protect you. It protects others from you, but it doesn't protect you, because anything that can permeate that covering, you're not protected. So that's why the H95 mask with the filter is really important, so that you're protecting yourself as well as others, right?
oh,
And
right,
then using gloves, and then making sure that when you have the gloves on, don't touch your face. It's the same difference. Keep your hands out of your face.
right,
And once come back in the house, immediately remove the gloves, discard them. We shouldn't be reusing masks, but they're so short right now, that's not an option. So people do have to reuse their masks. But disrobe, get out of your clothing, leave your shoes at the door, wash your clothes. Just take universal precautions. Wash your hands, for at least 20 seconds. And another thing, there's a shortage of disinfectant, there's a shortage of paper towels and things of that nature. Regular soap and water. You can take regular soap and water to wipe down your countertops, your doorknobs, any objects in your home that are universally touched. When you get your packages and your groceries, just wash that stuff down. Just take universal precautions. And social distancing, only go out when it's necessary. Don't have people over your house if it's not necessary.
right,
It's a real
right,
compromise, but it's a temporary compromise for long-term results. The
right,
sooner that everybody just cooperates, the sooner we can get past it. The researchers can get the vaccine, because that's what's going to change everything. This reminds folks of the Spanish flu that was very similar, but we didn't have the sophistication of information dissemination. We didn't have the technology or the researchers that we have now. So we can address this a lot faster, but we still need to give those researchers that time and opportunity to do that. And
right.
the way we can cooperate is just to stay at home.
Home, right,
Hashtag alone together.
right, right, right. Because
And watch Zeus Millennium Tour live.
there is entertainment on the television for sure.
There's entertainment and so
Yeah,
much of it.
yeah,
Everybody's living on Netflix. Ozark is a great series I started. I still don't get a chance to watch a lot of television,
yeah,
but when
yeah.
I do, I tap into some of these series that people are telling me about.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't usually watch so much myself, and if I do, it's just a quick thing. I mean, it's nothing. I don't follow any series. I'm not loyal to any of them. So, with my hours, the way I've always worked, but now I've had the time because I've been in now, I think about 6 weeks. So
Okay.
and here it's a law. I mean, you have to be in. They will stop you and give you a citation. California, is it like,
No, you won't get a citation. You know, they do have a mandate that that everybody must wear a mask and you should only leave for essential things like groceries, doctor's appointments, things of that nature.
right,
And of course, you have people that are not listening, but they are citing people at the beaches because it was like a couple of weeks after that it was the stay at home. People were at the beach because the weather, of course, is beautiful, right? And it's
of
like,
course.
come on. So they shut down the beaches, and I mean Disneyland is shut down. Shimada, when has that
I
ever
know, right?
happened in a lifetime that
Yeah,
Disneyland is shut
yeah,
down?
yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, this is unprecedented times. I think it's great that you're doing this. I think we all should keep some sort of journals, whether written or video, because this is something that you could share with generations to come.
Yes,
It's
that's right.
unprecedented.
That's
It's
right. Well, I,
unprecedented.
I
Mhm.
really appreciate because I do know how you are so busy. So I do appreciate you taking the time. I really do.
It
It
was my
means a lot,
pleasure.
girl. Yeah.
It was my pleasure, and I'm sorry that like I said, my phone has been ringing 6 times since we've been on here because this other
But
lovely
I'm gonna
day
let you go. I
initiative.
ain't gonna hold you much longer.
Yes,
But
okay.
Michelle, what I want to ask you, just so that you could tell other people, what 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 does it take to be an entertainer?
What does it take to be a
What?
human entertainer, as in terms of a performer?
Yeah, yeah. What is it?
I'm gonna tell you something,
What could you?
and this is a fact. This is a fact because one thing you could say, I've been responsible for identifying and finding a lot of talented people that went on to do amazing things,
Yes.
right? And what I would say the answer is, and this applies to anything, the very first thing it takes is a made up mind. A lot of
Mm,
people want the reward without the work.
yes.
And you
Yes.
first have to make that decision that, okay, if you want to be a singer or you want to be a writer or a producer, whatever it is that you want to be, first of all, that make that decision. And then you honor that decision by putting in the hours. They say once you put 10,000 hours in, you've mastered something, right? You need to, and there's so much resources now. When you and I were around, there was no internet. If we wanted
Right.
to learn something, we had to go to a library,
Yeah.
right? We had to
Right.
research.
Yeah.
These people
Yeah.
can get on Google and YouTube. You can YouTube anything. I done fixed my garbage disposal, learning how to YouTube. So I would say master your craft, right? Make a real commitment to it. And
Mm,
then you have the World Wide Web right at your fingertips. Once you have decided, okay, I'm going to be a singer, I'm going to do music, I'm going to collaborate with other people, then go ahead and decide, what is your brand going to be? Who are you? What makes you different? What makes you special? What is your signature sound? What is your signature look? You got to create your brand because that's what it is. You're a product, right? That you want to actually get out. What makes your product interesting, right? And once you've decided all of that, this is all homework you got to do before anything. Launch your site, launch your social media, launch your YouTube, put stuff out, read the comments, and don't take them personal. People are giving you criticism, read between the lines and do your tweaks and hone it and develop a following. You could set up your own merch. Guess what? Let me tell you something. For a person trying to get in the business, if they get to 10,000 people that are rocking with them, do you know they will make more than an artist signed to a record label that sells 1 million copies? Let me tell you why. Because with a record company, basically, the way it's set up is that off top, they're getting about 60% just for putting your music out off top. And then 15% of that goes to whoever's distributing it, 15 to 20%. Okay. And then the remaining is left for promotion and marketing, all the moving parts. And then out of that, they'll give you a little slither of participation. And if you're a new artist, it's going to be somewhere between 9 and 12%, right? That means of a dollar. Now,
okay.
I'm for math, I'm going to take it this way. Say like you get 20 cents. I'm just going to make this all up. As an artist, you sign to a record company, you get 20 cents of every dollar. Well, before you see that 20 cents, and let's just say you sell 1 million records, okay? So 1 million records, and you're getting 20 cents of every dollar net. Because before you see a dollar, they're going to take out all that money they spent on your advance, on your recording, on your marketing, on your promotion, which you have no say so over. They could have spent 1.5 million. That's why artists don't see any returns from record companies on record sales, right? And then streaming, the revenue from streaming is a fraction of a penny. You know, when a song played on the radio, that's 9 cents for every time it played on the radio that you would see in revenue, right? When it streams, it's like a fraction of a penny per stream. It takes 150 streams to equal one record sale, one single sale. It takes 1,500 streams to equal one album sale, right? So all of that to say is that a recording artist could sell 1 million records, sign to a label, and not even make a nickel. But a person that does their own music can sell 10,000 copies and make their own money that way. Because if you take 10,000 times $10, isn't that $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay, you make your own money. You know what I'm saying? That's for an album. And what if you sell a single? Okay, $10,000. You know, isn't that enough for you to reinvest and build your brand? You know, so to me, it's about independence. You know, we used to need the record companies for that very thing, the machine of marketing and promotions and hooking you up with collaborations and things of that nature. Guess what? If you put out some solid music and people are rocking with you, they're gonna want to hop on your record. You know, which is the case of Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper to this day is not signed to any label, any publishing company. He put in the work. He built his brand and he won a Grammy. He's the first artist to ever win a Grammy and not be associated with any record label, you know? So what I find about the people, and they're largely millennials, is they don't understand the work ethic because everything's available at an instant. Push a button, push a button, push a button, right? Right. And if you're not willing to put in the work and you're not willing to hear the criticism, you have just stagnated your path. You've just shut it off. There's no secret to this. If it's meant for you, it's already for you, you know, but you got to put in the work and you got to make sure that that's truly what you want to do. A lot of people get on certain platforms and get notoriety and decide, oh, I want to put out a song. That's not their passion though. And they're just expecting an instant reward. They're doing it for the reward. Decide why you're doing it. Are you doing it because it's your purpose and your passion? Or you're looking for the fame? So you got to get your priorities straight and you got to understand what you're really doing. But right now it's easier than ever. You have access to the world at your fingertips.
Wow.
Yeah.
Girl, you have given me, you have just given me, I mean, wow, Michelle, you are absolutely incredible. Omarion, he's got to be lucky, feel lucky that he has you, you know, by his side. Because wow.
We both are. He's an amazing person. Amazing.
Wow.
You know, and together we are a force to be reckoned with. That's a fact.
Wow. I am so proud. Wow.
Thank you so much. I mean, for all that people, you know, appreciate about my business acumen and, you know, those type of skills, he, you know, rivals that in terms of his talent and his passion. So that's why we're going to change the whole face of this game.
Perfect match.
By. That's right. Stand by.
Yeah. Michelle, this has been absolutely fabulous. You have given me, I am so glad you did this, girl. I love you. I love you.
I love you back. Really. And I do want to invite you and everybody that follows you to tune in to Agape's Facebook next Wednesday. 7 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
It's going to be streaming live, and you can see not only it's Earth Day, it's a celebration of our environment, which is something we all need to be cognizant of. But also we're going to pay homage to Bill Withers and his legacy, as well as all of the proceeds from that day are going to be donated to the Music Cares Corona Relief Fund. And the song itself, Lovely Day, is just uplifting. And Omarion's rendition, and we're going to see how many other artists we could get on there. It's amazing. So I invite everybody to tune in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous, Michelle. Well, look, girl, thank you so much for joining me.
It's been a pleasure.
On my Colorbar Conversations. I really appreciate
Colorbar Conversations with Shimada.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. Okay, so I will talk to you soon, girl.
Stay well.
Okay, have a good day.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.